Springfield City Council is considering a proposal that could help end more than a year of controversy. The Hotel of Terror has been a fixture in downtown Springfield for decades, but the haunted house faced being condemned to make way for repairs to the nearby Main Street Bridge. Now, after an eminent domain battle between the city and hotel owner Sterling Mathis, council members are looking into a zoning change. The change would shift another property Mathis owns, 701 West Wall Street, from heavy manufacturing to Center City District. The move would help pave the way for the hotel's relocation to the Wall Street property. City planners say rezoning the property just makes sense.
So then the Center City District is consistent with the goals and objectives of the downtown place type. Traffic study will not be required as part of this rezoning request, and staff recommends approval based on the proposal's general conformance to the comprehensive plan's downtown place type and the findings of fact that you have in your reports. Plan and Zoning Commission recommend approval 6-0.
Mathis already operates Dungeons of Doom at the Wall Street location. City Council will vote on the rezoning proposal during its meeting on February 26.